gonna have to change the language now, which is always a bit difficult for me, but it's usual. At Amnesty, we all speak like in different languages. Usually I speak Swiss German, you will notice it, but I'll try my best in English. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I feel a little bit like in a theater, I have to say, on the stairs, but I think I'm gonna be fine. I'm going to be talking about conflicting goals and turning them into common goals, which is something that I experienced at Amnesty, and especially in the Yes Means Yes campaign, which we're leading this year, also with the help of Monsieur. I think you already saw this visual that I'm going to show you right now. If the slide is changing, yes. Who has seen this already? Yeah, basically almost all of you, which makes me really happy. We started working on this campaign 3 years ago. At that time, I wasn't even working for Amnesty. I was working for EasyVote. But I think it's like a great example of a campaign we can dive in now. I think all of you know the issue and the main claims already, but I still want to show you a little video that explains the causes in 2 minutes.
If someone doesn't consent to having sex, it's rape. Simple, right? So why do only 8 countries in Europe think so? Only 8 out of 31 European countries have laws saying that sex without consent is rape. And yet in Europe, 1 in 20 women aged over 15 have been raped. That's around 9 million women. Friends, colleagues, family members, partners, ex-partners. People freeze and can't defend themselves, so the law should not require there to be violence for it to count as rape. There's no evidence that false reports are common. Rapes are actually hugely underreported because people fear they won't be believed. Women are being raped or assaulted, whatever they wear. If someone can't consent because of drugs or alcohol, it's still rape. Laws need to change to make it crystal clear that sex without consent isn't sex, it's rape. If it's not a yes, it's a no. Let's talk about yes.
Yeah, this video is already 3 years old, and in the video it said that 8 countries, I think, we're already having the Yes Means Yes solution, and today we are at the total number of 14 countries in Europe already that have this consent-based solution in the law. Switzerland is the little gray spot in the middle, and that has a reform that is ongoing right now, and this is basically the momentum that we wanted to catch to create a campaign to influence this reform. This is the campaign in a nutshell, and something that is very important, or that is showing pretty well that creating positive impact can happen. It's like only a year ago, a lot of people were talking about this solution as being something very radical, also being very hard to implement, and that is what we tried to frame in a positive way. And I think there was some success in this because we published a survey in April that said that 45% of the Swiss population already think that the Yes Means Yes solution protects victims of sexualized violence the best. So this was our framing to influence the the politics too. And only a month ago, the Legal Affairs Committee, it's called, of the Council of State, I think it's Conseil des États, said yes to the yes means yes solution, which was a huge step. And I'm really happy to say that tonight that we're very close before the finishing line, because the National Council is going to hopefully approve this reform in less than, I think it's 11 days to be precise, on the 5th of December. Yeah, but before I dive a bit more into the campaign and how we try to find common goals in this campaign, I want to just give those of you that maybe don't follow us that much a little heads up on what Amnesty does. We are the largest human rights organization worldwide, and we exist since 1961 already. There are more than 12 million members and activists that follow our engagements. And how we work is basically this. We do a lot of detailed research, a lot of media work, a lot of lobbying and advocacy work too, especially when it comes to highly political matters like yes means yes. And of course, a lot of determined campaigns. It's a very multidisciplinary work, so I think it's kind of crucial to have the right team structure for this, which brings me back to my topic. And I want to briefly show you how Amnesty Switzerland is trying to organize itself. Yeah. If you see this, I think you might think the same that I thought in the job interview, that it looks pretty old-fashioned, maybe also a little bit Bünzli. Bünzli is the word that we use in Swiss German to describe old-fashioned or conservative structures. And it is the way we are organized on paper, but to show you how a team like the Yes Means Yes team really works together, it looks a bit more like this. So on top of the hierarchical silos, we have this interdisciplinary teams where basically one person out of every team comes together and starts working with each other, like over this time of 3 years, like it was now. Usually the roles are pretty much those that you can see here. There would be a campaigner focusing on the human rights impact, and then there would be a media worker that is thinking about how to put this topic in the media, or like which digital strategy should we choose for this campaign. There would also be a lobbyist, which was like a very important role for the Yes Means Yes campaign, because this person had to know all the parliamentarians and go talk to them, convince the unconvinced. Yeah. And the activist who is responsible for giving the engaged community a higher voice and bringing people together for actions, gathering offline signatures, and yeah, just supporting our important voices. And there would be a fundraiser too, who would think about how to finance this campaign, maybe try different measures of donation calls. And what you cannot see on here is in the Yes Means Yes campaign, we also had support from an external agency, for example, and a person that was working in the education to bring this topic also in schools, and yeah, just make people more aware about the human rights issues. Yeah, it is a structure that needs a lot of different know-how, and every person that sits in this team has a kind of like a different focus, like you can imagine. And the fundraiser doesn't necessarily understand what the lobbyist is talking about. So it is very important that we speak a lot together about which goals do we set for our teams. Yeah, to show like to show you or to let you show me how you would work together as a team. I want to make a little experiment. I already have one person that will participate, she told me before, and I need 5 others to help me with that. Yeah, just please come here and then I'll explain what you have to do. Maybe you can help me with this. I wanted to take with me a wooden stock, but I didn't have one, so it's this tent thing. You want to help us too? Come on. It won't hurt, I promise. Yay. You can, 3 people have to be on one side of the pole and 3 on the other side. And make sure to not hurt the ones behind you, because I promised it won't hurt. So 3 people here and 3 on the other side. Yes. Maybe you can come help us too. Then we're 6. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. And now you have to hold the pole like this and cross your hands to always be like this. Deux mains. Yes. And now there's one job to do and just one rule. So you can never lose the contact to the pole, and you must bring the pole down to the floor, but make sure to always touch it. You can communicate, you can look at each other, you can do whatever, but just don't let it fall down. Descendre. Oh yeah, be careful here. Are you all touching the pole? Okay. Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, to the floor. Ooh. I think it's okay. I think you managed. I have to say I'm very impressed because we did this experiment on the Amnesty Retraite with the communication team. I'm really sad I didn't bring the video, but it took us like 20 minutes to bring the pole. And we were like this, everybody was like this. So yeah, I think I can learn a lot from you guys. What helped you to bring it down so easily? Do you have any... Was it the communication or looking at each other or... The what? The calm down sound. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. You have to send me the video for the Amnesty team after. Yeah. I chose to do this experiment with you just to see like how important it is for every team to find their own way of working together, and I think you should like become a team after this. And I think this is the way we work at Amnesty. We kind of have like this silo hierarchy, and we have this vertical teams, and all of a sudden we're sitting in these teams and we're like basically not giving a fuck about the hierarchies, because we want to all be like, we try to all be equal, and we have a lot of participation. I think Nata and Gabriel, they know it from the process working with us. There's a lot of talking. And in a concrete example, like yes, the Yes Means Yes campaign, it would look like this. that one person is like the campaign leader is mainly focusing on the changing the law. The media person would be would have the goal to have a lot of media presence, a lot of digital signatures, and the lobbyist would want to convince the unconvinced people. The activist would want to show that she can gather as many offline signatures as possible, and the fundraising person would want to like, yeah, of course, get as much money as possible to finance this campaign. So looking at this, you could think like those are conflicting goals. And I didn't invent this term myself, but when I started working for Amnesty, I realized a lot of people are always talking about how these goals conflict each other, and I was always a bit surprised. And I think it's important for us, and I hope that I'm gonna get some inspiration in the presentations after me, that we find a solution on how we can reframe this topic of conflicting goals into common goals. And what we are doing at Amnesty to do that is a lot of talking. We try to interlink the goals as good as possible. We try to onboard the fundraiser on how important it is to have activists that are actually going on the street. The lobbyist doesn't really understand what a lead is, and we need to explain to him how the digital campaign is working and why it's important for his parliamentarians too. And the framing kind of like needs to be shaped by all of these people, which needs a lot of effort and talking. But I think we're on a good way. And I have to say in a parenthesis that we are also doing a big reorganization these days. And the goal is that in next summer that this reorganization will be implied. So maybe you can invite me again or not, we'll see. Yeah, but I think it's a very important topic, and I'm also here to like get some inspiration from you guys, what you think as external people about this campaign and about our work challenges and how you perceive it. There's one milestone that I want to mention to close my little presentation. On Monday, we handed over 40,000 signatures for the Yes Means Yes petition call. And we did this kind of as a wake-up call for the National Council that is going to decide about this topic in 11 days, I think. Some people asked me today what my prediction is. I can't really say it. I think it's gonna be, yeah. I don't know. I shouldn't do it. But I think the most important thing is that no matter what the outcome is, I think Amnesty won't stop to campaign for this solution. And we won't stop before this Yes Means Yes solution is anchored in the law. And if you have some friends in the National Council, you have 10 days to convince them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lucia. If you're okay with this, we're going to propose a few questions in the audience. If anybody has some questions, please feel free. I feel like there's going to be cool conversations after, so we can already start the conversations now. So maybe I'll go with one.
Yeah.
It's maybe a difficult one. How is it possible to make it, how is it possible to find efficiency while you have these flexible groups with different goals?
Time pressure. No, I think we, as I said, I think we're not perfect in terms of organizing ourselves very like in a structure that is very fixed. But I think it's also the field that we work in doesn't make it easy to find like a very efficient process that is just the process that you can take and do, and then it's gonna be fine, because we have a lot of influences around us. The world is kind of not okay. It's expected from Amnesty to point our fingers everywhere where there's human rights violations. So I think it's mostly that we stay very dynamic and fast, and I don't know if any kind of work model could cover all this pressure. I'm curious to find out, but I think it's, as I said, mostly talking to each other.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in the public? How much flexibility does the different roles have between fundraisers, activists, lobbyists?
You mean flexibility in terms of also taking other responsibilities? Maybe. I think we have quite a lot of flexibility. For example, in the Qatar campaign, a person of the communication team is now basically leading all the activist events. For example, the big place where we show the football matches and do podiums and stuff, and she's mainly a media workers person, but she's just very good at it. She's very well connected with the activists. So if you really want it, you can like be as multidisciplinary as a team like this, but of course you would have your own goals in the team and limited resources, which is a huge topic for us too. Eloise is laughing because she has been working for us.
Thank you very much. Yep.
When you work as a team or as a pool, I don't know if you think like that, do someone lead the discussion and everything? Is there, I don't know, does someone lead?
Yeah, in this, it's always the case that a campaign has a leader or a co-leadership. And in this campaign, it was one person, and she was at the same time also the expert of the female, like women and LGBTI rights. But since it was a very digital campaign, there was a co-leading in this campaign where the responsibilities were kind of shared. She was like the expert for all the questions, also regarding media and stuff. And the other person was leading the digital campaign, thinking about the strategy, observing the numbers. So it was kind of, I think we adapted kind of to the campaign and the needs that we have. But usually it's the person that is also the human rights expert. For example, in Qatar, it's the expert for sports and human rights. Yeah, which is not always easy because not all not all the experts do really like leading teams. So it's also something we're trying to reinforce, like giving them more skills to lead teams and really also have the time for it, because they also have the pressure to be up to date with the human rights topic all the time.
Thank you very much, Lucia.